Hey there, peoples, fellow humans. This is the introduction video on the who, whens, where's, why's, and what is Strongbow off the grid, and why I'm doing this, who I am. Give you kind of the quick rundown on what's going on. So first off, the who. My name's Strongbow, or I'm going to go by Strongbow. A lot of my friends have attached that name or nickname to me over the years, so that's what I'm going to go with. So that's me. I am a mid-40s guy living in Alaska, south central Alaska. I've been here for over a decade. I have two kids, 7 and 10 thereabouts, and going through separation and divorce, which hasn't been easy, but amicable on both parties and all that good stuff. I'm a massage therapist, amongst many other things. And this is the year 2020. It's December. I think it's 11th or 12th. I can't even remember right now. 2020. I should have probably been doing this video a long time ago, earlier in the year, when I made the choice to do what I'm doing. And that is the who. So, mid-40s guy going through a divorce. I've been unemployed and employed, self-employed throughout the year here in various stages. I've gotten some unemployment money, thank goodness, through the summer, the late spring and early summer. And with that money, I decided to do something. In essence, I was homeless in a way, living in a camper during the summer. While I figured out my next move, and the former spouse, who my kid's mom, is in our little cabin. That being said, I needed a place to live. COVID and everything else coming down, so many variables, and everybody is feeling it too. You know, everything's up in the air, and I decided to build a tiny house on wheels with the cash. And here is part of it. I'm in it. I'll be in subsequent videos. Going through and dealing with that. So that's the who. In Alaska, it's winter outside. Snowflake from my kiddos. And yeah, this guy right here, that's the who. So the what. What is this? Well, let's talk about off-grid and what that means. Off-grid normally means and is recognized as being not connected to a power utility grid. So providing for your own power in your utilities, water, septic, that sort of stuff. Taking care of those basic needs, those basic things that make life doable. So being able to have your water, your power, your septic, or dealing with your waste, your food, and various aspects of that. In different degrees of that. Some people say off-grid is just off the power supply, and they've got a 9-to-5 job. You know, it encompasses all of that stuff. So I'm kind of in this hybrid, middle of the road thing at the moment. I've done this before in varying ways over the years, which I can get into a little later. So off the grid, being able to provide for myself as much as possible. So I built this house. It's 8 foot wide, 22 feet long, 10 foot high on one side of the roof, and it drops down to 9 foot on the other side. It's a simple shed roof, which I'll show you at some point. I've never built anything like this before. I've done some things here and there. I couldn't cut a straight line to save my life. I'm not a carpenter, and I basically buckled down, took the time, made the measurements, did it all myself, consulted some YouTube videos and some friends here and there who are versed in that sort of thing, and yeah, came up with this idea to do this. So I've got a place to live, check. It's warm, it's off the grid. I'm not connected to any other power supply. Right now, however, I am running off a little generator, a little Honda EU 2000 watt generator. I have these huge D8 deep cycle batteries. I've got 2 of them that store the power. I've got solar panels, but they're not installed yet. It is wintertime in Alaska. It's also dark really early, and solar is going to be minimal right now anyways, although it would help. I'm going to hopefully get those hooked up soon. I've got a wood stove behind me, and it's through various trial and error moments, it's working. heats the place up great. I've had a lot of nights where it's down in the single digits or teens and stay plenty warm. I also have propane heat as a backup, a little Dickinson Marine propane heater, and I've got a little propane cook range top. And then I do have a little cubic ceramic space heater, so if the generator is running, sometimes I augment with that. So there's kind of my heat and power. Water, I'm hauling water from either town or friends' houses right now in 5-gallon jugs. I've got a sink and a drain hooked up, and it's working great. I'm working on getting the water system set up. So that's kind of what I'm doing, is I'm living in this tiny house on wheels. I didn't know where I was going to be, what was going to be happening. This COVID thing, I needed a place that was safe, warm, paid for, preferably, for me and my kids. I get my kids like week on, week off, and I need a safe place for them that's comfortable, not a camper that's 4 seasons. So that's, in a nutshell, where I'm at. Minimize my debt and my ability to withstand swings economically. So with shutdowns, with closures, business failings, quarantining, self-quarantining, the cash flow has not been consistent. And for most of us, that's the case. You can't count on anything. I'm going to work really hard in these videos and through this journey to not tell you what you need to do. That's different for everybody, and everybody's situation is different. What I'm going to try to do, my whole intent here is to show you what I'm doing. Some of the decisions I've made and why I made them, and maybe you'll be able to get some information out of that as well that's useful. Being able to provide for yourself, minimize your debt, be able to move more flexibly and not be tied down to any place, job, situation, I think is going to be very paramount in order to be able to thrive and not get yourself in a bind. That's my opinion, at least for me. There's the off-grid aspect. Do I have a job? I'm self-employed right now. I'm doing a few massages here and there. I've got a couple little side gigs going. Hopefully, this YouTube thing, who knows? Maybe it'll bring in a few extra bucks. Maybe not. I need to get this information out. I figure I've got something valuable to share. Well, why not share it? I'm getting over that cusp, that fear of that, taking that first step. Oh man, I'm going to be on YouTube, or I'm putting this video out, or I'm not done with this house. It's messy. It's lived in right now. It's cluttered. I'm building. I'm not even sure what I'm doing half the time, but I'm doing it. Didn't think it was going to be ready for any sort of viewing, but I think that the rawness, the realness, just showing it as it is, man. And there's moments that are pure joy and really full of elation, and I really will sit back and I'll have my cup of coffee, and relax and just be like, man, no matter what happens, I'm pretty good right now. And then there's other moments that, last night, for example, it was really cold. It was down in the teens, and I needed to clean out the wood stove. And there's a lot of ashes that come out of the wood stove, and I burn coal because we have it occurring naturally here all over the beaches and coal seams locally. It's a great free fuel source, but it leaves really gnarly ash. So I had to clean out the wood stove. I come in from being out in town and going to work. I've got this old shop vac, and like a goofball, I left it uncovered outside for a couple nights, and it rained and snowed on it. Brushed it off, plugged it in, seemed to work fine outside. I brought it inside to vacuum up the ashes in the air as I'm dumping the ashes in the bucket, so my place doesn't get filled with soot and ash, right? You don't want to ever vacuum. That's one thing I will say. Don't ever vacuum ashes out of a wood stove with a vacuum cleaner, because there could be lit embers or burning embers in there. They get into the vacuum cleaner. You set it aside, and before you know it, the whole thing bursts into flames. Don't want to ever do that. But I'm vacuuming up ashes around the outside of it where they're cool, or in the air above the ash bucket that I'm pouring into. And something was frozen inside of the vacuum, and allowed all of the ash that I was vacuuming, plus probably a good portion of the contents of the dang shop vac, to shoot up into the air in my tiny house here last night, prompting me to have a 2-hour clean out session and shake out all the bedding and stuff as I'm cussing and kicking the shop vac out the door. So that's a real thing that happened, and yeah, not as glamorous, but it's interesting, and I'm free. I'm pretty darn free, folks, and I think with everything that's been happening, your own personal sovereignty, at least mine, and my freedom, and being able to make these choices, not in this nanny state that I feel is really kind of creeping up on us. And I think, yeah, it's December 11th, I think, or 12th. So that vaccine is coming out, mandatory this and that, and shutdowns. We're really being told a lot on what we can and can't do, and where we can and can't go, and how we're supposed to do things, how we're supposed to live. I'm basically saying nada. Nope. I'm pulling out of the system a bit, unplugging, forging my own path. So this is how I'm able to do that. Not having a bill on a place to live is huge. If I really need to, and I don't have 2 nickels to rub together, I've got the ability to hunt, to fish. I've got chainsaws. I can go cut wood. I can go gather coal on the beach. There's a lot of things that I can do. I can go gather water. There's a little creek that flows down here if I had to, and filter that, use it for washing. So there's that. It's not for everybody. It really isn't. There's a lot of work to it. It can be a lot, but it can be really rewarding too. And I've done this in the past, like I had said. I've had various I don't know if you want to call it methods or various ways that I've gone about this over the years, and it's been very difficult to either I'm all in or I'm not. Either I'm all in, off the grid, way off in the wilderness, hunting and fishing and subsisting, grinding it out, wondering where I'm going to get some money from, or I've been like, screw it, I go back to society and I'm on the fringes of it and getting a job, or even working a real job, paying taxes, the whole deal like that, and being in the system. And now this is the in-between. So I think you can thrive, and I'm trying to forge a way to thrive and being independent. Using the system, within the system in a way, yet not being married or tied to it solely, and having that autonomy and having some of that freedom and gaining more of it. And this is a stage. I'm still kind of paycheck to paycheck, if you will. I'm 90% done with this tiny house. I've got a couple of vehicles. I've got assets. Everything's paid for. Liquid cash, not as much right now. I'm like, all right, a couple of $100 here and there, gas and groceries. Went to the lumber yard. Lumber's out of sight. I need a piece of cedar. It's like $20 for a board. That's kind of where I'm at with it. I'm working on building multiple revenue streams to offset this. So that's another thing. So these different facets, there's a lot of contributing factors to this. There's the tiny house movement, right? There's the off-grid living kind of movement or lifestyle, right? That's a portion of this. These are all facets of this gem that I'm putting together. So like tiny house movement, off-grid, the prepping community in a way. It's not really centric, but man, it is a part of it. I have gasoline stored. I have food stashed. I have parts for my vehicles. I have extra parts for chainsaws and firearms. There's all sorts of things, tools, that encompass being independent in a way that, if the store's closed tomorrow, I know that I've got a really good shot at lasting a pretty long time without being too terribly inconvenienced. The van life movement, the camper movement kind of thing, that's a big part of this too. That could be encompassed in here. Taking back your own personal freedoms, the sovereign type of outlook, regaining your individuality and autonomy is big. And I know I'm on YouTube and I've got a camera in my face here, it's on my phone. But it's what I've got, and I'm making it public, so I'm technically, not too autonomous there. I'm out there, hey, but maybe you guys can take something from this. Yeah, that's it in a nutshell. So there will be all sorts of little things that come along with this. I'm going to show you how I live. I'm going to show you what I'm doing to make a buck and thrive. I'm going to show you how I'm repairing things and gathering skills or using the skills I've got. Like I said, I wasn't a carpenter, but I made a go of it. I do hunt and fish, so I've got that stuff kind of dialed in, and I do mechanic work. I don't rebuild engines or transmissions, but I can do up to that stuff pretty much on my own, and that helps. Small engine repair, it's huge. Generator, chainsaws, all this little stuff that encompasses a life, that ease of use for the tools, and eventually getting off of some of those and using more hand tools and more manpower in a way. But man, as you're doing this and trying to do it fast before winter set in and having kids, power tools and gasoline are your friend. That's for sure. So here's just a little quick look outside. I am not out in the complete wilderness. I'm in south central Alaska. I am off the grid, no power, no water, no septic. I handle it all myself. And there are roads around. There's power. I'm actually in the lower driveway of a friend's house who let me use this piece of property to do the build and hang here until I could figure out my next move. So I'm very thankful for that. That's a big part of this too, is networking, getting friends, building those relationships, working together. So thank you to everybody who's helped make this possible. And it's doing it all on your own from scratch. It would be a huge endeavor. So any sort of help you can get, networking of friends. Like I said, this place I'm at right now, there's roads here, right? There's power nearby. I'm a 15-minute drive to the little town that I work in, have my little studio there. But things are changing. My business has dropped off 80-90%. So now it's time to start making those shifts, be flexible, learning new skills, being open to new ideas, changing the fundamental way that I do make money, that I am interacting, looking at the relationships that I've got in my life, nurturing the ones that are really good and solid with people who feel the same about me, and letting those go who are just taking advantage and there for the free ride, the takers. There's no balance there in the give and take with a relationship, and those people are gonna be going and being open to new experiences. That's what this is all about, and not just grinding out an existence, but learning to thrive, having fun, enjoying art and music, and being able to be. Existing on this planet shouldn't be a chore. It should be bliss, right? Just existing itself shouldn't require you to have to be a slave to the system and the financial ties that bind that together. I really think there's other ways to go about this. So thanks for coming along on this journey. I know this video is probably getting a little long in the tooth. If you like this, if it's beneficial to you, share the videos, like and subscribe, all that good stuff. There will be a Patreon page I'm working on right now with more exclusive content and things like that. Thank you for supporting this, and shoot me some comments, if you have any ideas. And I'm sure there's 100,000 other ways I could have done things better or different, and I'm open to hearing those too. But this is how I did it. So thanks, and yeah, let's take a good look around us, shake off what's going on in the world, and look at what's important, the people in our lives, the relationships, and existing here on this planet, thriving in a way that works and is copacetic with everybody. Till next time, ciao.